I very rarely say this about guests. I shook your hand. Didn't feel very calloused at all. It seemed like you got a nice sort of non-calloused hand. Does that mean you're not climbing these days?
No, actually, and people say that it's because my whole hand is basically one callus, and I sand my tips all the time. I sand my skin. My skin is pretty hard right now.
Is that really?
Yeah.
So you spend time just sitting around and sanding down your hand?
Yeah, like using sandpaper to like trim all the extra skin off your hand.
What have you ever measured your hand? Because that is in the NFL business. A hand size is a measurable.
Oh, is it? No, I've never measured.
You've
anything.
never measured your hand.
No, and actually, for climbing, it would honestly be better to have a smaller hand, I think.
Why?
Because the actual climbing holds have an objective size. You know, they're say a 10 millimeter edge, or, you know, like a 1/4 inch edge.
Right.
You know, the bigger your hand is, the smaller the edge feels relative to your body.
No kidding.
You know what I mean? So if you have smaller fingers, the edges feel bigger.
Because I would think you'd need more gripping space for your work.
Well, no.
By the way, I'm going to sound like a total idiot when it comes to talking about rock climbing, just so you understand.
Yeah, no, I imagine you don't speak to many climbers in the show.
No, I don't. No, not many. No, not many. Well, I mean, in basketball, they call it The Rock, shooting The Rock. I mean, I have spoken to the actor The Rock, but that's, other than that, you're kind of the first.
Oh, well,
Alex.
I appreciate it. I'm honored.
Yeah, but so I would think again that you'd need to have more of a hand.
No,
span.
I mean, if anything, there's more mechanical advantage if you have smaller, smaller fingers. So climbers often talk about it as a 1-pad edge or a 2-pad edge. Basically, the pads of your fingers, like how big the edge is relative to your hand.
Right.
And so if it's a 2-pad edge, it feels quite big because a lot of your hand is on it.
Right.
But if your hand is really big, then everything feels small.
So, what is the toughest thing you've had to grip that's not a rock?
Well, actually, the clip we were just showing, the boulder problem on El Cap, I mean, a few of those holds are very, very small. They're, say 1/6 of the width of the edge of my thumb. I mean, it's really hard to apply leverage against something that small.
So how do you do it? How in the world do you do it, Alex?
Well, I mean, the thing is, it's just to be clear, you're not holding your whole body weight off holds like that. You're using them as sort of counter pressure between your feet. So in the case of the climbing on El Cap, I'm balanced on my footholds.
Yes.
And then I'm pressing up into the handholds and then sort of maintaining tension, with your core between, hands and feet.
Do you work out at all?
No, of course. Yeah.
No, I was about to say, I mean, but I'm just wondering if your rock climbing is the exercise enough for you?
So climbing is most of the exercise, and then I also do extra core workouts. I do, opposition things like push-ups and things to, maintain, healthy balance.
Right.
Because climbing is all pulling muscles all the time, so sometimes you have to work the pushing muscles separately just to make sure that you don't overdevelop.
So the core is basically your lifeblood, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, so your legs should be the thing driving you up a wall when you're climbing, and then your core is what sort of connects your arms to your legs. So yeah, I mean, you have to sort of keep them all pretty well.
All right, so that's the how, in a way. The why. Why do you do this?
Well, the why is a lot harder too. That's different.
Why do you do this, Alex?
Well, at a basic level, because I love climbing. I mean, I just love the movement of it. I love the feeling. I like going climbing. And then if you mean the why climb without a rope, I think that...
Yeah, but we can get to that, sure. We can get right down to it.
I mean, I think that has more to do with, sort of testing myself to some extent, or... I don't know. It's a certain kind of challenge. It's a unique kind of challenge.
I would say so, that you decide that I'm going to take on one of the most remarkable physical feats anybody could do, where the penalty is death. I mean, that's it. That's all she wrote, pretty much.
Yeah. The thing is, I am taking on that challenge on my own terms with my own timing after as much preparation as I want. So, unlike other sports, it's not as if I have a coach telling me, like, get in there and perform. It's up to me to spend as long as I want. And then if I don't think I can do it, then I never have to do it. And so really I'm seeking out a challenge that I want in order to test my own skills.
Well, I mean, right now in the NFL, Antonio Brown, one of the best wide receivers in the game right now, is having an issue because the helmet that he's always worn in the first 9 years of his career, the NFL is saying it's outdated, outmoded. He can't wear it anymore for safety issues. Do you have a piece of equipment that you're superstitious about, that you will not climb without at all?
Not superstitious about, but I can imagine, like my climbing shoes are probably the most critical component, particularly when free soloing, because really it's the only equipment that I'm using.
For player safety issues.
Yeah, exactly for player safety.
Right.
And so, I mean, if somebody just told me I wasn't allowed to wear the shoes that I'd always practiced in, I mean, that would be a big deal.
Right. But
you have to sort of relearn and re-practice everything using new equipment.
Well, professional golfers need to use a putter or use
use a club forever.
Right. So at what point are you feeling comfortable with the shoes that you? How often? Well, let's put it this way: how quickly do you go through shoes? Pretty much.
I wear through climbing shoes in a handful of months of heavy use, but I use the same model all the time, so at least I kind of know, I know how it wears over time.
Okay.
But for the hard free solos, you have to have a perfectly broken in pair of climbing shoes that are just the right state, and so for the free solo I'll cap, I broke in a pair of shoes right to where they were perfect, and then I sort of shelved them for several months until I was actually ready for the climb. And then the day before the actual free solo, I took them back out of the box and sort of played with them a little to make sure they still felt perfect.
How do you do that? Like, what's your process?
I just did a little bit of bouldering with really small edges, so basically some practice climbing with really small footholds to make sure that the shoes felt perfect on the footholds. It's just.
And what about the clothes? You told me something backstage.
Oh yeah, the clothes I just wore. I wore the same clothes for all the practicing and then for the actual climb, just because I wanted everything to feel exactly the way it had when I'd practiced. I assume that's the same with all sports, right? People perform.
Well, so I need to clarify: same exact shirt or same make of shirt?
No, the same shirt, yeah. But I was living in a van. I don't have a washing machine. I don't have, you just wear the same shirt.
So yeah, hygiene wasn't.
I was unstressed, but I was by myself in a car. Who cares?
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.